Okay, we're going to address a few things. What's happening in the Philippines? It's all over the news now that a 26-year-old dude who made the poor choice of living in southern Mindanao, that he got kidnapped. His name is Elliot, I forgot his last name. I seen his show. And I don't understand what makes people make decisions to live in a place that we already know is a very chancy place to live. But then again, people can be awfully chancy in some of the decisions that they make in their life. And we know that as a fact, don't we? So he's reported missing. And maybe somebody decided to get even with him for whatever reason. That does happen out here. Does that not happen? It certainly does. And it wouldn't be the first time, and it wouldn't be the last time. But this unfortunate guy who meets this woman, she's only like 19. And I don't know what he did for a living, but he had some money to kind of get things going. He doesn't look like he's living in anything we consider modern living. It's more of a native type of hut that he's actually living in, very Filipino style for, poor province Filipinos. I don't understand anybody who wants to live in Mindanao, period. There are, we'll call them insurgents, whatever you want to call that, but it's not a safe place to move. And apparently, this young man, he didn't really do his research. All he knew is he met this woman, he fallen in love, whatever, got emotionally involved, and decided to move down to southern Mindanao. I think the most southern tip of Mindanao. You can't get more south than that. Where there are known to be rebels, there are known to be, well, I don't know, there's a lot of names for them, insurgents and whatnot. He made that mistake, and sometimes people make big mistakes and they got to pay very dearly for it. That's life, my friends. That's just fucking life. I hope him well. I wish him well, as many people do. I think Tim Kane's just doing a live or doing a story on that. Philly in the Philippines did a story on that, so it's all over the place now. You have to be careful where you live in the Philippines. I don't care if your girlfriend lives in Mindanao, southern Mindanao, whatever. It doesn't mean that you have to go there without certainly doing any research on when you're going to be the only white face around there and they all conclude that you have a lot of money. Whether you do or not, it's a conclusion that a lot of Filipinos, well, in this case, it's Muslims. In this case, the Muslim population down there, which is predominant, I guess. I'm not familiar with the region. I just know there's a lot of Muslims. Now, not to say anything bad about Muslims, but there are certain factions, whatever, of the Muslim population that has been known historically to not really take very well to foreigners. Okay, that's just a fact. It's nothing against the Muslims. And I think most Muslims are damn good people. I'm sure they are. But like anywhere else that you might be, there's always going to be a certain group of people that basically will do things that, you wouldn't want to be done to you. Okay, it's political, it's religious, whatever it might be. I guess the common sense is, why would anybody live in Mindanao? I just, and I've known this for forever, really. It's my association with the Philippines. I would not live down there. I would never live down there. I think Phelps got into a lot of trouble too with Muslims when he was living down where he was. So there's a lot of information that we just don't know that is not shared on here. Okay? A lot of information. We have this big information highway here on YouTube, but the information is not always correct. Okay, let me reiterate. Let's go back to this damn thing about the charges and all that. Again, the complaint was filed in April, and this has to do with Mr. Barry Lee Jordan's girlfriend. This was written up or complained back in April of 2024, and it was put onto paper on July 17th. The complaint. Again, reiterate on this, it's a complaint is an automatic, what they label as a charge sheet when there is a complaint when it comes to immigration. It's a little different with other cases like court trials. I mean, when you're putting a case of cybercrime against somebody, it's a little bit different. It is standard issue to when you put a complaint in, because there's what they call an investigatory time in between. It goes into writing that this person made a complaint against this individual. They even got my birth date right. I've seen the paper. Barry has been distributing this paper around. How do I know that? Because I got an email from somebody who showed me the paper. But I already had that. And I don't mean her initial complaint. I already had this paper. I already had that. Now, a little over 2 weeks ago, and I was doing a real short earlier, so I decided to kind of redo this and talk about two different things. Okay, in the interim, my lawyer, of course, has responded to the complaint. Okay, so there's been no other communication going on except my lawyer 2.5 weeks ago, say 2+ weeks ago, did speak to a BID agent, and there was no problem. So Barry's contention, well, what he's trying to do, and why he's mentioning November 5th all the time, is that when he figures I'm going to do my renewal of my visa, when he really doesn't know whether or not I've actually done that on my last trip. We're not going to say anything at this point until I will say something or need to say something. Excuse me, we'll address that later on. So that's what all the clamoring is all about. Wait and see on November 5th. Yes, there is a charge sheet. That is true. But even as my lawyer said, he said that's standard operational procedure when it comes to an agency such as immigration, at least in this country anyway. I can't speak for America. That's standard issue. And it gives, once that report or charge, or actually call it a complaint, is given to me or whoever, right? The way it works is that it gives your lawyer a chance to respond to it, which my lawyer absolutely did twice, because there was a rebuttal from his girlfriend on his response. So what goes on in the interim, and I'm going to educate you people on this, is that it's under an investigation stage, is what it is. No decision has been made to deport anybody. Although his has been made already. He's already got a summary deportation. His ass is going to be out of this country, trial or not. Okay, his ass will be out of this country, and there ain't going to be no return ticket. I know this as a fact. And how do I know this? Well, just trust me, I know this. Okay, I'm not going to get into all the details of it as to why. He'll never be able to come into this country again. That alone is enough punishment for this guy. Believe me. Put the trial on the side. This is enough punishment as it is to serve the time that he has already and to not be able to come back into this country. He's so sure of it that he wants to get married and everything. He's so sure of it. But remember, in life, don't be sure of anything. I'm not sure of anything. I'm not sure of anything. I'm not. You know, I go step by step. I'll read the paperwork, do my own investigation, come to my own conclusions. That's how I work. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say, yeah, the judge is going to give him 20 years in prison. I can't say that. And I can't. Because there's no way I can predict that. Will he get away with this completely? I really don't think so. There's been a lot of talk about, well, maybe they'll dismiss the case or something like that, or the bullshit that his lawyer gave up on it. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, actually, because he was probably hounding his lawyer so much, and his lawyer probably figured out he was still doing shows on there, and it may have come to the point he said, fuck this. Represent yourself or find another lawyer. That is possible. Is it a lie that his lawyer left him? Well, what do you know about him? When his lips are moving, he's lying. I don't know for sure. And my lawyer's been, I'm not his only client. He's been pretty busy. But he will find out, of course, on his own whether his lawyer's still representing him. It's probably information my lawyer needs to know. Is that a total lie? Could be a possibility. We'll probably see him in court, both of them. Or maybe the bummer will appear on the Zoom, or his lawyer might appear on Zoom. Okay, either way. The fact that you can't make me go to court, I'm not going to allow it. There's a lot of things he said he's not going to allow. He's not going to allow a second case either, like he has any control on that, which he doesn't, of course not. He figures he's control of his life, and he's ecstatic right now. He's ecstatic that his girlfriend, which he claims no involvement at all, the piece of shit that he is, he claims no involvement at all. That is complete bullshit. But it's actually standard issue with him. His lies. Of course he was involved in that. He wants to get even with me. Now, the truth is, we all shouldn't even be talking about this shit on here. Getting too deep into the case is probably not the best idea, I think. I know a lot of details of the case I cannot discuss on here, and I purposely have not. Some of the surface dust I've actually been able to discuss. His outburst in court, blah, blah, blah. My opinions about whether he's lying or not, about his lawyer leaving him, and the whole... I mean, would I blame his lawyer? No, I wouldn't blame his lawyer at all. I was in his lawyer's position. I would have got rid of him. Well, he didn't even have the lawyer a very long time anyway, but... good things come to those who wait. You remember that old saying? Okay, so just to kind of clarify something, and I don't have to talk about this, but I'm doing it willingly. When, again, you put in an immigration office a complaint against somebody, it is standard issue. As also told to me by my own attorney, it is standard issue to put a charge sheet, because somebody is charging you. She's charging you with being an undesirable, okay, and whatever else. All right, there's an in-between to all this. The lawyer has to respond to this, which he did. Not once, but twice. Once was the counter affidavit. The other was another response to his counter affidavit by his lovely girlfriend. Okay? Very lovely girlfriend. And he had to respond back to that. That's it. Right now, it's in an I can never say that word. Investigator. Okay, let's just say it's in an investigation stage, okay? Investigation stage. Which absolutely has no substance at this moment at all. Until the immigration actually came up with a definitive solution to this. Now, they might actually dismiss this whole complaint, and already could be dismissed, and we just don't know about it. But I'll take what comes. So, remember, the complaint was made back in April. The paperwork on this was addressed on July 17th. What was that, 3-4 months ago, whatever it was. Okay, there was no decision made on here. There was no deportation decision made on this. Just to clarify this, there's none. Okay, they could very well dismiss the complaint, and for all we know, but my lawyer will, in the next few days, will verify, get an update on what's going on. And as I said earlier, he already spoke to BID agent over 2 weeks ago, and they said there was nothing going down. So he will, however, cooperate with me. I just spoke to him this morning. I forgot it was Sunday. I thought it was Monday today. He was at church, but he managed to get back to me anyway. That was cool. That my lawyer at least gets back to me. And he was in church too, okay? And he said the same thing. He said it's standard operational procedure. When a complaint is made, that does not mean that you're going to be deported out of the country. They have to consider the counter affidavit evidence and so forth and so on. That's where it stands. That's about all I can say about this, really. All I can say is, Barry, you really put yourself into a really shitty position, I'll tell you that. Don't ever dream that I'm ever going to have any way of going light on you in court. You wait till I get on the witness stand. Wait till, never mind my girlfriend, she's just going to answer questions from the lawyer. That's how it works. It's yes or no, or you might be able to elaborate. But wait till I get on the witness stand, bro. Okay? And, the evidence will be, might be presented actually on the 29th. The video evidence might actually be presented besides my girlfriend's testimony. That's how it's going to work. So be there, man. You wouldn't want to miss the action, would you? Come on, show up. Show up. Don't be a wuss. Show up. Show how tough you are. You're just afraid to hear the witness testimony, aren't you? And you're afraid that something else might just happen in that courtroom on the 29th. What could that be? What could that be? Do I know something you don't know? Perhaps. Have a good day.